Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Brand Risk Podcast. I'm your host, Arab, along with my co-host, Edwin. And today we have on a special guest, a leader of the Tomato Mafia, Leon Lush, who has amassed almost 2 million subscribers by creating musical commentary and really funny edits across YouTube for the past few years. A participant of multiple MrBeast challenges.
True.
Yeah. A man who stood for 30 hours so that he could win $25,000 for his child's college fund.
100% true as well. 31 hours, but no problem. We're not
31 hours with weights on.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Leon, dude, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, man. Happy to be here, Arab. It's been an absolute pleasure. We've known each other for a long time, so it's good to finally get up on a longer form piece of content here. I feel like the last thing we did was played Uno together with Joey Salads and Ricky Burlick.
For $100. For $100, yeah. Well hammered, I think, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure.
Bro, we had Joey on the podcast like as one of our early guests, and it's funny as fuck that you guys have known each other for so long. He's mentioned you since I met him.
Arab has?
Yeah,
for sure.
This was gonna happen at some point. You know what I'm saying? Like us, like you and I meeting. I'm saying, like, whether it was podcast or however, because he's mentioned you several times.
Fucking, I love it, dude. I talk about Arab all the time. I've seen this dude go from just a little budding flower into a fully bloomed fucking sunflower full of delicious seeds and semen. I don't know. Yeah.
Delicious.
And that's how I keep my sunflowers in the house, covered in semen. Like,
that's what I rub in my hair to make it look like this.
Yeah. I like the way you live, my friend.
Yeah, it's just been cool, man, seeing his growth these last couple years and the grind. I mean, a lot of people, it's funny when you're doing the thing online and you're trying to build a brand or whatever, a lot of people hop on when they hop on, right? And they're like, oh, like maybe you have a blow up or you have a month that's really good, and people are like, oh, this dude's blown up, and they don't realize just the hundreds and hundreds of hours of just grinding no audience. You know what I'm saying? So it's been a fun journey just from spectating. I check in with him from time to time. We knock tweets once in a while. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But when you're doing your own thing, obviously you don't have time to watch it.
Yeah, you 100%. You get that mutual respect for the hustle.
Exactly.
Yeah. So everyone cool, man.
So everyone that doesn't know, Leon and I go way back. I've been following his stuff since he was literally nobody. I remember your first video. It was like you made a music parody. It might have been a Logan Paul or somebody, was it?
Might have been the Jake Paul one.
Jake Paul.
The keyboard one.
Yeah. And then everyone was like, oh my God, this guy's talented. So for everybody that doesn't know, Leon Lush is part of like that commentary reaction community, which like I guess H3 used to be in, all those people, but Leon is a lot of the commentary people are very hateful, I'd say. And I'd say yours is very comedic. You can tell there's not an ounce of hate. It's like very well done. It's for pure entertainment, and there's never like ill will. It's just very well edited comedy along with your music talent and all that. So
I like that. I think commentary is an interesting genre because I think there's a lot more nuance to it than people understand. Like, you hear the word commentary community and you think, okay, 16-year-old with a fucking
CS:GO knife.
16-year-old with a blue Yeti hops on and makes a hate video against Tana Mojo or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is kind of like how it goes. You have Leafy, who kind of spurred this entire genre in a sense, in a way. And so you have people that kind of look to that as the North Star and how to grow their channel. Obviously, like, I came into the scene when Leafy was at his peak, probably 2016, and there was the H3 and the Leafy and the Grade A Under A, or at the time it was Keemstar, Leafy, and Grade A Under A drama. That's when I started like dipping my toes into like, all right, hey, why don't I sit down behind a mic and see if I can, make some jokes about dumb shit going on the internet, right? And so that's kind of the community I fell into, because it was similar thing. I wasn't like gaming at the time or, doing DIYs. I was just talking about shit, trying to make jokes. And it evolved over the years. For me, obviously when you're getting your start, you're doing whatever you can to try and cop a few views. So you make a video about Logan Paul, you make a video about Jake Paul, what I'm saying? You put the names in the title. And it's not to say I don't do that ever, but I think you have a little more freedom once you have an audience that's going to show up regardless to be able to touch on some other things. So I've tried to take it away from just like pointing fingers and being like, oh, this YouTuber's bad. Although I still do it sometimes, and talk about other shit like prosperity preachers or just other shit going on in the world. And it's just been a lot of fun kind of seeing what I can talk about. But like to make your point, I do appreciate that delineation there, just because I do see there's a couple ways you can do the commentary thing where it is just very vitriolic and it's like, hey, let's make this video where I'm just trying to take this person down. For me, it's always been the North Star has been delivering an entertaining experience and making people laugh. And I use commentary about, you know, what's going on in culture or other YouTubers as a vehicle to do that. And I try to do it in a way that's like, for instance, I did a commentary on Badlands Chugs, the fucking huge dude that crushes drinks on YouTube.
I love
like,
that
yeah,
guy.
amazing. And I made a commentary about him. He watched, he's like, yo, dude, I thought that was hilarious. Of course, I made a few jokes at his expense, but it was lighthearted. We end up linking up a couple months later, did a collab together. It's now the best performing video on my channel. So
I saw that video.
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah,
I keep up with him on a weekly basis, bro. I'm like, what the fuck is he drinking
Me
now?
too, dude. Don't touch that mouse.
Yeah.
He's a legend, dude.
Bro,
he's one of the nicest dudes ever in real life too. It was
you know what the gnarliest shit I've ever seen him do is the fucking thick water, bro. Every time
it was gross. I know. I can't.
That's the only one I've seen him do, and it's disgusting.
It's fucked.
Yeah, man. I was like, that was the first and last video I ever watched. It looked like someone drinking 3.5 gallons.
I searched him up after your video, Leon.
Yeah.
I searched him up after your video, and then I was like, what the fuck is this shit?
No, dude, he commits on a crazy level, but
he does.
But real quick, so before the podcast, obviously Arab knows you. I wasn't, super aware of you, so he told me to Google some stuff just to have a basis for the conversation. And we're talking about it before the podcast started. The people who are listening, if you Google Leon Lush, it says he's a musical artist.
Imagine
and I was like, interesting. I was like, okay, cool. So then I go on his YouTube channel, and it's not music at all. Like his like I watched his like his most recent videos. Like the one that really cracked me up was the OnlyFans one.
Yeah,
that one was real good. And I have to, and if I can tell you a few observations that I've made so far, is that you have a really, really good vocabulary. Your vocabulary is impressive.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I think that comes from the fact that your content seems to be very well written, and it's evident that you're the one that's writing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you write a stand-up for each video. And that's one thing that I feel like people don't understand when it comes to like commentary or talking head videos, which is, if it's good, it's probably like thought out. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. So interesting point, because I will, not to shatter the illusion, but a lot of what I do is off the cuff.
Homie said vitriolic, and Edwin freaked out.
I'm like, damn, bro. I'm like, what the fuck? No, there's a few things that he said.
I know. I'm just fucking with you. Yeah, he said off the cuff and shatter. So here's the thing. It's interesting. I don't really know what to attribute that to. I guess I give all credit to my mother, who is a wizard with words. And I was actually, some people know this, but I was homeschooled for a lot of my life. That's a whole nother story. It shows.
A little bit of a. Were you homeschooled too, Arab?
No, I'm just saying you're awkward.
Okay. Oh yeah, 100%. I feel I just thought for some reason there's somebody else I know in the YouTube community that was. I forget who it was. Anyways,
Ricky.
100%. Yeah. So you turn out a little strange when you were homeschooled most of your life. And that's kind of what happened.
Fucking with you, bro.
I've been able to spin that into some YouTube videos, but I don't know. Yeah, that's definitely been. I think a part of it too is there's obviously a little bit of I definitely skew older, right, for just YouTubers in general, and obviously for commentary YouTubers too, if you're thinking of the commentary community at large, which is again kind of the quintessential 15-year-old with a blue Yeti, right? So it's a little bit weird to click on a video that like you're expecting, oh, this is a video about this YouTuber, and you're expecting maybe what you would think a normal commentary was, and then you get this like guy in his 30s with a son who's using words you haven't heard of,
and a monkey next to him.
Yeah, and then a little beautiful, succulent little baby monkey toy that he occasionally makes love with on camera. But I think part of it too is just with the delivery of the lines and stuff like that. I will say, like, I don't do a lot of writing. I do plan ahead of time. I do bullet points. Obviously, I like usually research what I'm doing, and I'll like look at things that I want to be, I'll look at the content and be like, all right, this is going to make a good segment, stuff like that. But when I record, oftentimes I find that I deliver it better if I just give myself the freedom to try to come up with it on the spot. So a lot of times I'll record for longer. I'll do like a 2-hour recording for a video that's going to be 14 minutes because I'm kind of doing it as I go. I'll like be watching a part and I'll be like, holy fuck, a joke will come to me. And then I'll deliver it right then. But since it just came, sometimes might take me 4, 5, 6 takes to nail it. So that's kind of the method I've fallen into and how I record a lot of times. Now, there has been videos, of course, like the Badlands video, which are scripted. I do some writing and stuff like that. So I try to dabble in that as well. But yeah, I think just the practice, obviously been doing this for years now, and it's kind of, I've fallen into the way I do things that are comfortable for me. And it's been working out pretty well. So
people don't realize the strength of a comedian is the delivery.
100%.
A lot. People can think of jokes like we have in our server. Like you're saying that it takes you 6 tries sometimes. Sometimes we'll all be chilling, late at night, and we'll think of a joke, and we'll sit there figuring out what's the best way to word it. One of those, like a really good joke. We all understand the premise of it, but the way to deliver it so that people can understand and laugh at it, so that it bangs, is completely different.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And it's interesting too, because I feel I get over the years a lot of people that are like, hey, you should do stand-up. Have you ever tried stand-up like that? And I haven't yet. I'm not to say I never will, but there is a certain amount of freedom to or just you can use your editing, and I use my editing as a compliment.
Very
to the
skilled.
joke.
You're very skilled at editing.
So right. And that again is how you deliver the jokes with the timing. So a lot of times when I'm recording, I'll think about how I want it to look in the edit. So then I can, record it the way I need to. Do I need to do this in one take, or can I, do this in 3 separate parts and then just do the timing in the editing?
Right.
Or so there's you have a lot of these variables to play with the actual timing of your one take recording, or here's a few different parts. I know how I'm going to do this in the edit. And that just comes with experience, I think. But it is that I just, the point of that is that it's different. It's a different skill in a lot of ways than stand up, because stand up, you don't have editing to give you the timing. Right. So you have to make sure you're on with the delivery outside of that. So it's just totally different in a sense.
Edwin wants us to do stand up. I've always wanted to do stand up, but like,
same. Yeah, I would try it.
It's something I want to try. I know I'm not good at it. Like I'm going to fail the first few times because it's different. Stand up's different. Like you do YouTube, right? We stream on Twitch. Edwin does other crazy shit as well. Like it's all different. Like you have edits that can alter. I have to be some fucking idiot comes up and I have to think of something funny to respond to him. So it's all completely different.
100%. I think you're definitely more in line with what what I'm saying, since you are live and you're not editing.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, you're delivering a live performance essentially before whatever you're editing down the road, maybe highlights or whatever. So that piece alone, I think, prepares you better for maybe a stand-up situation.
Yeah, but either way, I think stand-up is a lot of like you think of stories. And how can you deliver that to a crowd is different for sure.
That's why I feel like, because like, the shit that I've done in my life, like just like the stories that I have with my friends, it'd be pretty easy to turn them into a stand-up. You know what I'm saying? Me and my friends have been filming since like 2014 and like making YouTube videos and stuff.
Edwin,
like stunts and stupid shit.
You probably know Edwin is part of Juke Squad.
Yeah, I've been in the Juke Squad.
You ever heard of Juke Squad?
I knew I recognized you, bro.
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, I knew who you were through Arab, just seeing obviously his interactions.
It's funny. I was wondering if the homeschooled people you were talking about were my 2 friends, Jack and Turner, because they were both homeschooled.
It might have been Jack who I was thinking of, because we obviously spent some isolated time in the circle together.
Yeah.
MrBeast, it could have been him, because I was like, I know there's a YouTuber I spent some time with.
We gave him so much shit when he came home with no money. We're like, what the fuck are you doing, bro?
I love that this is full circle. Let me go close.
We're like standing. We're like, you couldn't fucking stand, bro.
Oh, dude, the knee slip was tough, dude. It went down to review and everything. They had to go get the footage, bring the laptop out. It was a whole scene, man. It was crazy.
That's hilarious. It's cool.
It's funny because he was one of the people I was 100% most worried about, no doubt, because what I'm saying, you would have to pull, but it's the mental mistakes. It's not. a lot of times the physical piece can hold up well, but when you haven't slept or whatever, it starts getting, your body gets tired, your mind starts to get a little tired, you make these little stupid mistakes, and that's
I want to dive into that. But before we dive into that, I want to key point about you editing your own stuff. A lot of people that listen to this podcast are obviously viewers that are trying to figure out how this social media star got to where they are. I think a key point here is, like you said, is experience, knowing how to do it yourself, right? A lot of these people think that you can just pull out one medium, which is streaming or whatever, and pay an editor and have them do everything. But it's just not that simple. Like, all of us know how to edit, all of us know how to Photoshop, all of us, because we started doing it ourselves, and it also helps you, like, I mean, your jokes, like you said, you're delivering them knowing that you're going to be able to edit them a certain way later. You can't just hand it to an editor and they're going to know what you're thinking in your head.
Without a doubt.
The first thing I noticed about your video was how good the editing was. That was the first thing I noticed. Because within the first 30 seconds, there were so many cuts and like funny edits. So I was like, dude, that right there would have taken a fucking while. and then I asked Arab, I was like, does he edit his own shit? He was like, yeah. I was like, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm at a point right now. So I have Josh, who he works for me full time. He started working for me part time a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, when I started a second channel where I was bringing on my wife to do some commentary stuff. And mind you, I had built the first channel. Everything I had done, I had built with my own two hands. And I wanted to start a second channel and be able to do some stuff with her, but I just wouldn't have the time to edit those things. But I was like, how can I find someone who I can kind of translate how I want things to be done through them? So anyways, I worked with Josh through the course of a couple months. He did a phenomenal job editing that commentary stuff, but it was also like, I had done the work myself building that brand. So now I'm building an extension of that brand, which is more like family oriented kind of. My wife was in the picture. And so that's a good point to maybe bring in more help, because I'm still doing what I've been doing, but now I'm increasing production of content. I'm increasing the output of content because I'm hiring hands to help me with a lot of the time consuming stuff, which is editing. But there is no replacing knowing how to do it yourself. There's no replacing, understanding the craft and stuff. There's exceptions, right? If you're God tier number one in the world at gaming and like whatever, all you need to do is have someone edit your clips and you're famous because you're the best gamer. Sure. In general, I think is anybody who's looking to be like an aspiring streamer, YouTuber, TikToker, whatever it is these days, is you got to get your hands dirty with like the process. Like, especially if you want any longevity in the business, like a lot of kids that are maybe younger don't really understand that you really, there's a piece of it that's like, yeah, you want the cloud and you want to get the views and stuff like that, but there's a whole underbelly behind it that isn't a legitimate business. You have to start an LLC, the tax implications and all these things.
I just started one a week ago.
Did you? That a boy. It's about to hit time. Yeah. I just got an accountant and a lawyer for the first time this year, so I'm feeling good.
Nice.
Oh my God.
I need an accountant too.
Yeah. But yeah, then that's all, for me, that, treating it like a business was part of the reason why I was like, hey, I want to continue to build out other legs of this, but I can't. You do reach a point where you can't do everything yourself, even though in the beginning you are. But I think it's maybe just you have to play it by ear to make sure you're not trying to outsource things before you're ready to, because you know what I'm saying? Like at that point, you're like, if you're someone that you're not getting a lot of viewers or this isn't your job now and you're trying to get your foot wet and you're like, oh, well, all I need to do is record and I'll outsource the editing. Like now you're kind of putting the onus on your editor to help, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody cares about your brand or business as much as you do. So 100%. You have to put in the work and the hours,
The problem also is I feel like when you learn to edit, you edit in the things that you think are funny. And I think that is a projection of you and your humor and your brand. And I feel like if you don't create a template or if you don't ever edit your own shit, you'll never actually know what your own brand, you know what I'm saying? Because like if you just make clips and you send them to an editor, well, that's the editor's form of editing. That's his humor. That's how he saw what you were doing. Right. But it's not you. You know what I'm saying? So and that's what speaking about like, running these things like a business and different legs of stuff, like, me and Arab are gonna get a place together. We're gonna start filming vlogs and stuff. And I'm gonna edit the vlogs. Like I really want to edit the vlogs that are gonna go on the brand risk vlog stuff, because I've been editing for years. I'm a pretty good editor when it comes to like the real life stuff. And I was telling him, like, so I have another YouTube channel that I used to upload vlogs to, but I'm gonna be really, really focused on the brand risk side of things. And if I wanted to upload to that other one, because I already have a format or a template that I've ran with in the past, I would hire somebody for my like side channel. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, 100%.
But at this point, it'd be easier because they'd have a format to go off of.
Right. Hey, here's an example of how it's been done. Like, let's try and match this, and you can work with them. And that's exactly what I've done with Josh. He moved out here in October. He's been out here for 3 months now to be local. He was from Denver. I'm on the East Coast.
Why do you have him local? What does that help?
Because we've been doing some more stuff IRL. So he's been helping with, like, he does a lot of camera work. He's also a cinematographer. Right. He's also the reason we even linked up is because he's an audio engineer first. So he was helping me do some stuff with music.
This is
when I was
the
making
Josh dude that made music.
Yeah.
What's his name? What's his?
Oh,
Twitter
no,
handle?
not Josh A. Different Josh.
Okay.
Different Josh. But the other reason too is that I'm gonna try, as I get him more involved, and I want to start producing more content for the main channel, and I'm able to, I'm still doing editing, but if I could probably do a second video a week instead of one a week if you could edit it, and you're here, and like we just got him set up in my office with all the software he uses, and I can be there.
Is it your first office?
Editing.
Is it that one that you used to?
No, I moved into a new house in March, so this all is kind of like newer than the last year.
I love this setup, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. This is actually above my garage. It's separated from my house. The previous owner had it as a standalone apartment he was renting out, so it's got a little kitchenette, bedroom, and a bathroom.
Oh, that's cool.
I just turned it into fucking a content house, which has been fucking phenomenal. Like,
I love that.
I like your fireplace.
Thank you. Yeah, that's my motto in the stream when people join. It's the Lush Lounge, and it's always cozy as fuck in this bitch right here.
What do you stream? What do you play?
Oh man, I'm like high key addicted to Rocket League right now.
Nice.
Good game. And just some Warzone with the boys.
Listen, Rocket League is a very good game for viewership because you can get in there and without ever playing it, know exactly what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, it's entertaining.
I don't play Rocket League.
Video games.
I don't play Rocket League, and some nights I'll just chill and be like, this guy's fucking good at Rocket League, and I'll watch. Yeah,
dude. I love it. Not to get into Rocket League too much, but the simplicity, but it's so simple. It's literally just like foosball with little soccer cars, or with a soccer ball and little cars, and you have boost. But it's so complex with how advanced the mechanics get and how great you get in the game. It's fucking insane. So it's super digestible for someone who doesn't understand it.
Exactly.
But it's also for people who are super competitive. Can be one of the most competitive, esports games around, in my opinion. So I'm just having a blast with it. I get frustrated because I watch how good people are, and it's like I know I'll never get that good, but I know Arab would know nothing about that because you just all of a sudden came to the top of fucking Fortnite out of nowhere.
No. Can I say something about that? Actually, when I first met Arab, he was good at the game. He's very good. But I will say he wasn't anywhere near as good as he is now, and I know when it happened. I know when it happened. He for some reason, like just randomly, he started going to creative, and I'd watch his stream. Like I just have it up on the side, and for days he'd go into creative and he'd practice this exact same edit. Like it was like a little ramp edit where he'd like make you go up. Like I don't know, like he did the same shit over and over and over again. I'd like look over and he kept fucking it up, and I was like, he's trying. And I look over again the next day, he's still fucking it up, right? He did that for so long that eventually I'd like look over and he's fucking up an entire lobby instead. You know what I'm saying? and it's just like, I don't know, because I remember I think somebody gave him shit for not being mechanical. I think there was like actually a clip that came out. I think it was Destiny Jesus said some shit about, you know what I'm saying?
It was when I was learning.
I literally remember those tweets, dude. I remember because I always see the Twitter beef anytime you get in there.
Yeah.
Well, which I always think is so funny.
They were giving him shit.
It was when I was learning too, man.
Yeah, it's not fair. That wasn't fair. That wasn't fair. And especially like out of context or whatever. And I just remember those specific things happening, and now all of a sudden he fucks people up, bro. And it's and that is an example of, if you want something bad enough, if you want to be good at something, all it takes is effort. You know what I'm saying? 100%.
Effort. It takes determination and effort. It's the 10,000 free throw rule, right?
Yeah.
Like how many fucking free throws did Michael Jordan take? You know what I'm saying? Like in his off time, how many hours did they spend on the court when there were no cameras around? You know what I mean? And you can apply that to anything in life, video games, music, whatever it is. And it's just a lot of people don't have the capacity to get through the frustration of sucking at something so hard for such a long amount of time and feeling like you're not getting better. But I don't know, in your experience, Arab, like, I feel like there's this weird thing where you almost like you do, and this happens to me in Rocket League sometimes, where I'm nowhere near like a good level, but I've progressed pretty great deal in the last like 4 months because
Right.
I go into training and I practice these mechanics, these shots like over and over to try to get these little muscle memory things down.
You do those on stream?
And, not as much. I just occasionally I will. I probably should, but most of it's just me in this office by myself.
I have a rule, and it's that I don't play games off stream.
See, that's a good rule. I love that rule, and it's clearly worked out for you. So I should probably take that advice, quite frankly. Because why would you? Like, listen, you can be fucking with your community.
Exactly,
like,
bro.
You? Yeah.
Listen, don't get me wrong. You're gonna get the shitheads that come in and talk shit, and you'll get clipped, and you'll get put on Twitter, like he's talking about, right?
Yeah.
But like, I've played, I think, like 6,000 hours of Fortnite.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And I think like 5 to 7 of them were off stream.
That's nuts, dude. That's crazy.
And like another 5 because I was banned off stream 1 week. So it's like 5 to 7 deliberately off stream.
One of the reasons I love that so much for you too is that like what that means for you is you don't care about, you don't worry. Is what I'm doing right now at this moment, entertaining for the stream. It's like you're focused on what you care about most, which is getting mechanically better or getting better at this game.
No, for me, you know, I got into it because I wanted to be funny. I just happened to end up being good. Like, we used to play together. You were one of the first people I used to play with. I remember, dude. I remember.
Oh my god, we played some Fortnite together.
It was me, you, and Ricky and Hiring.
That's right, dude. Oh my god.
Yes.
And you were carrying us back then, back before you were even good. Yeah. Oh, but no, I love that. So you just pop in there and practice techniques. But that's what it is. And what I was trying to say is basically sometimes you practice for hours and hours and hours. It gets super discouraging because you don't feel like you're getting better. And randomly, like you'll like take a day off or you'll get a good night's sleep.
Yes.
You wake up the next day and you're like,
nuts.
Holy fuck, dude. It all just fucking clicked. Like this one thing I've been working on for months is now like I don't have to think about.
The second coming of Jesus,
and
bro.
it works. Dude, and you see that, yeah.
When I was like, I want to say like 11 or 12 or something, I got my first skateboard ever, and I was so excited.
Yeah.
And obviously,
you tried it, and it was impossible.
And skateboarding is hard as fuck, bro. I'll never.
Leon, you skate too, right?
I used to a little bit when I was younger. Yeah.
So when I got my first skateboard, I remember riding it out of the Walmart. It was a Walmart board, and I fucking ate shit, dude, because it was one of those Walmart boards that for some reason wouldn't go straight or whatever.
Yeah,
it wasn't a nice one.
It shows,
Eventually, I got a nice one or whatever. But I remember trying to learn a kickflip for fucking, dude, as long as you could possibly imagine it would take to learn a kickflip. Yep. And every single day I'd go out my front yard, try to do a kickflip. Go out my front yard, try to do a kickflip. Would not work. And then all of a sudden, one day after trying it for months, I went outside, and the first kickflip I threw that day, I landed it perfectly.
Smashed it. Yep.
And then the second one I did right after that, landed it immediately. And then I couldn't do it again for fucking 2 months. And then eventually it just, you know, like you're right. You know, it's just like you try something for so long, you can't do it. One day you wake up and it's fucking easy. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. It's crazy.
How do you do a kickflip without fucking snapping your ankles? Like, dude, is there not a fear there, man? That's why I've never skateboarded.
You know what it is? This one kid that I grew up with told me like what I was doing wrong, and and you know, it doesn't feel good to get called out on something, right?
Yeah.
And he's like,
what it takes.
He's like, I know what you're doing wrong. I was like, what? He goes, you're just afraid of landing it. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you keep pulling your foot out. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, just jump and commit. He's like, look at that board and land on it with both feet. I was like, I'm trying to do that every time. He's like, no, you're not. He's like, I can literally see your foot not landing on the board intentionally. And he was right, because I tried it and I fucking ate shit. You know what I'm saying?
That's what. Yeah. You were being soft because you didn't want to eat shit, basically, right? Yeah. You got to fully commit.
Exactly.
I like that. The mind games.
Yeah, it is, bro. It is a mind game. All of it is.
Leon. All right. I want to go back to that MrBeast point. So everyone that doesn't know, MrBeast, Leon was in one of MrBeast's first challenges, I'd say. It was when MrBeast was starting to blow up. He was starting to do these like insane challenges with people rather than just like giving away money. And it was last to leave the circle wins 100 grand. Yes. It was at the Clout House in California, you know, where the FaZe boys live, etc. It was like you, Danny Duncan, a bunch of FaZe members, Jack, bunch of people that like, and every few hours, you can't leave to pee. You have to pee in like this little tent. Every few hours, you get weights added onto you.
Yeah, we had these weight vests on where they added little like 4-pound weights every couple hours. It was.
And you won.
I did. We got to the end. So there was a final four eventually that kind of came to terms with it. But yeah, it was an interesting.
You can't sit. This motherfucker stood for 31 hours.
You can't put a knee down either, and that was which is accidentally how Jack ended up getting eliminated. But that was it. Just standing in the circle like nothing. You could pee or shit in a bucket. I was the first one to break the ice taking the shit in the bucket, by the way.
Were you able to sit when you shit?
You had to squat over the bucket, which was tough, dude, because I had already been standing for like 24 hours.
Was it tougher or was it better?
So I'm like shaking.
Did it like let the blood flow kind of?
Say that again?
Like, was it good that you squatted or was it harder that you had to squat?
No, it probably was. It wasn't bad because like you're doing things the whole time, like, you know, like stretching, like squatting down, standing up, because you do need to like kind of keep moving and like your limbs or otherwise you just seize up. But it was definitely, it was the feet soreness and the leg kind of quivering by the end of it. That was getting bad. I always, you know, there's a lot of what ifs, like, hey, like, you know, if we didn't make that deal, like if it was really only one winner allowed, winner takes all, like what would have happened? Whose legs would have given out? I think it would have been carnage, and I think it would have went for much longer. You know, we were headed into the second full night, and it gets cold, dude, in LA. Like, it's hot during the day, the sun blazes down on you, and then night, all of a sudden the sun goes away. It's like 35, 40 degrees. And we were going to the second night, and everyone was getting a little. Who
were the winners? You,
crazy.
Danny.
Yeah, the finals. Me, Danny, Casper Lee, who's a guy from the UK. He's like a pretty big YouTuber years ago. He's more of kind of like a business guy now, and
Carnage.
Fuck, Alex Ernst, actually.
Oh, Alex Ernst.
Yeah.
That guy's funny.
The legend himself. Oh, dude, he's one of the most unique people I've ever met. Yeah. But that's a story for another day. But there was actually 5 of us. It was actually Mini Lad was the 5th one in the circle at the time. He was there, and he finally conceded. He was having back issues, and it was this big deal. And like everyone was asking about deals before that, and everyone's like, "No, I'm staying to the end." And then Mini Lad leaves, and it's down to 4 of us. And then all of a sudden, it like triggered this thing in everyone's brain, and we're all like, yeah, let's do the deal. He literally like conceded, and like 15 minutes later, we're like, all right, we're good.
That sucks.
It sucked to be him for sure. Fuck.
Oh yeah, he was like, what the fuck? And we were like, sorry, bro.
Because that motherfucker stayed up for 30 hours.
Yeah,
just to get fucked like that. Oh, but granted, I mean, he obviously didn't need the money. For him, it was just winning the challenge, probably.
100%. He said that. He's like, listen, it wasn't about the money. Because part of the deal was you like, MrBeast shouted out the winners at the end of his at the end of the video, and he was trying to like start a second vlog channel or something, so he's going to shout himself out with that. But anyways, so yeah, we me, Danny, Alex, and Casper settled on the terms, and we called it. Took the 25
grand each.
And here's the deal. Like for me, like I'm the young, but like not you know by age.
You were the smallest
by YouTuber, by status. By
you had
clout,
what, like
right?
70K subs at then? 100K?
No, I had already had. I had just had my blow up in 2018 with like the videos I did on the brothers that were pretending they're dying. So I had blown up, and like literally I went from like 240,000 subs in like August, September, and by the time the challenge was in November or early December, I was at like 800.
Oh shit! Oh yeah, you were banging
like that.
Right.
So I was on my way, but then that video winning, and then the subsequent shout out from MrBeast, and that whole thing pushed me over the 1 million mark. Yeah,
really?
In December
200K?
2018. Yeah, I think just that shout out alone, I remember watching my back when real time analytics were a thing back before they nerfed that.
You fucking beating your dick to the live.
Oh yeah, me and my wife. I just had it up on the laptop in the kitchen. We're cooking dinner. I'm playing with myself while she's making some fucking chicken cutlets. It was a good fucking time.
I've seen that video.
when I was playing with myself.
Yeah, and she was making chicken cutlets.
I always record it when I'm giving myself candies. Yeah. Kind of like always record Fortnite. I never masturbate without actually streaming it. Yeah.
Oh, well, interesting. On Twitch or what?
That's a whole different business we haven't got into today.
Was that at the end? Was that at the end of the OnlyFans video?
I know, right? People are like, "Where's the link?" I'm like, I don't actually have an OnlyFans. Sorry to disappoint. Yeah, that's
crazy how much people make money. How much money people make off that shit.
So much cheese, man. So
dude,
much
I wish
cheese.
I was a hot girl. Oh my god, I would sell the fuck out of my tits.
Dude, there's money to be made. It's a weird this kind of democratization of the adult industry. Like it's anyone can do it. It's the same way. Like the gatekeepers are now gone. Like these and before OnlyFans, it was Patreon. Anything with a paywall. The internet is really.
But Patreon was less porny.
Yeah, Patreon was very geared towards non-porn
an extra video.
Yeah. But OnlyFans kind of came around, and it was, I don't know if that was their sales pitch, but it's.
I don't think it was.
It wasn't, but it really quickly turned into basically being dominated by, females that were commanding a lot of money a month to sell pics or whatever it was. And
the way he words it so elegantly, bro. Like, it quickly turned into a porn site. No, not with Leon. It quickly turned into beautiful women. Commanding
large sums of money to sell their beautiful photographs. Yeah,
me, Arab, and some of the homies that we chilling in a Discord, we always have this joke about how, like, for some reason everyone that has an OnlyFans is the top 1%. You know what I'm saying? Like, how the fuck
it's the meme, kind of like everyone that's written a book is a fucking Amazon.
Oh my god,
yeah, exactly,
100%.
Exactly.
Like, what does that even mean? It means nothing, probably, because the girl, like, she doesn't even. And I don't know, like, after I looked at her, like, she doesn't have many followers on Twitter. Like, she doesn't really have much of a social following. So it's hard for me to believe that, like, all of a sudden a million, like 100,
why
thousands of dudes are randomly going to pay her for whatever. But maybe she blew up on Reddit or something. You don't know.
Here's my theory. It takes, that percentage is also how many accounts are on the site. Like, while you're getting a percentage, because everyone, when you create an account, you have to, like, create a profile picture, etc. I'm pretty sure. Like, you don't just buy a person's account. Like, you have to have your own account. So,
you do have to create an account.
So maybe that counts as an account. So everyone who even has X amount is top 1%.
Yeah,
right. Because there's just so many accounts that are just sock accounts for people beating off to the chicks.
Yeah.
No, supporting their favorite content creators.
That's what I meant. Excuse me. I meant supporting their favorite. Exactly like you said it. Yeah.
They're supporting their favorite females commanding large sums of money. I want to. Speaking of large sums of money, I want to go back to that MrBeast thing. What was your motivation for that? Obviously,
Sorry, I got sidetracked, but that's what I was getting. The point I was trying to make is I was a small fish. So to me, dude, like I had just seen like a month previous to that, had just seen like $10,000 in my bank account for the first time in my life, right? So $25,000, never mind 100. The idea of going to LA and coming home with 25 grand over the course of 2 or 3 days was like life-changing, right?
Right.
And that's still, to this day, that's a lot of money, right? There's a lot of, $25,000 is a lot of money.
And you weren't even thinking 25, you were thinking 100.
Oh yeah, I went thinking 100, but dude, I had nothing to lose, man. So I knew, like, I wasn't leaving that place, like, cause I got bored. Like, I wasn't leaving unless, like, they had to call an ambulance or fucking, you know what I'm saying, or my calf seized up or something. That was it, dude. So and then going into the end of it, though, kind of with that mindset, I was like, oh man, I hope, like, I'm not letting anybody down by selling. But there is a part of you've been doing this 31 hours, you're exhausted, you haven't slept. In this thing in your mind, you're like, all right, I could take 25 home, which to me, that's like, can be life-changing. That's amazing. And there's also, if I say no, and I'm like, I go for it and I get greedy, and what happens if, like, my calf cramps up, I go down, and then I got to go home empty-handed to my wife and fucking 1-year-old son. I was like, so that kind of the balance of those two things, for me, it was like, man, 25, this is a W. These other 3 people get to, we get to share the pool together. We all kind of win in a sense. Nobody is devastated, and it was good. But my motivation was just, like the money piece, man. Like, I just, that's like a life-changing amount of money for me at the time. I'm in a little more of a comfortable position now, thank Christ, thanks to this amazing job I've been afforded the past couple of years.
You have a fucking fireplace in your room.
Listen, you know, I'm made of money when I got a fucking fireplace in the background of a podcast, on the Brand Risk podcast. Yeah, that's actually I custom ordered that fireplace from Peru. It was made by children slaves. So,
oh my god, my cousins made that.
Yeah,
my cousins made that. Thank you for the support. Thank you so much. The 25.
Wait, are you Peruvian?
You know,
the same shit.
Sure.
It's all the same.
You know, whatever. Yeah, it's all the same.
Hey, Latino.
Hey, you know, we're all kind of related. That's it.
But to answer that question, it was, I just didn't want to disappoint the family, man. Like, I knew my wife would have been happy either way, but she was ecstatic for me to be able to come home with a bag. You know what I'm saying? So that felt good.
How is that support from your wife? You quit your job to pursue full-time YouTube. That's the reason I don't think I'm gonna get married for, till I'm 35 or whatever. How old are you, by the way? 34?
35.
35. The reason I don't think I'm gonna get married till I'm 35 or whatever is because, like, I don't feel like I'm ever gonna find
a balance.
A balance. Exactly. So, like, obviously you've
a healthy balance or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Because I feel like I'm so dedicated to this, 16 hours a day, whatever. Like, today's day is gonna be 22 hours. I woke up, streamed fucking 8 hours, and we have 5 podcasts to record today. So it's
God damn, this guy. Yeah.
so like, I don't know if I'll ever find a balance as well as, like, somebody that really understands this as much. So, like, you quit your job while you had a wife to pursue full-time YouTube. I think before you even were making good money, right? You just full sent it.
Yeah, it was kind of, well, I'll give you the quick synopsis of how that goes. But first of all, credit to you. I do, because that it is good to have that self-awareness because you have to understand that, like, if you want a relationship to work, it takes time and effort, and it takes away from whatever else you're doing. And if you're obsessively trying to build something, you might be better off saying, hey, let's wait for now until I build this. And you know what I'm saying? So that, but that's tough because at the same time, there's the whole relationship piece and wanting a partner and all these things. So not that we'll get into that, but for me, my experience, I was a little bit I'm older than you, right? So if I was
100%.
So, like, you're at the perfect age to be doing that because you have so much runway ahead of you right now. It's not like you're 55 and you're gonna, you know what I'm saying, die alone. But you have the years, the time to fucking just
die alone.
Yeah, just fuck off wasting time over some fucking butterflies and make that fucking bag, dude. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
That's the move. For me, it was weird because I had kind of been on the hustle for years in different various mediums. For me, initially, it was like doing the music thing.
What were you working as at the time?
I was in the restaurant industry for over a decade. So I graduated college with an exercise science degree, right? Which quickly turned into me me being like, well, let's fuck this. I'm going to get this sales job that pays a bunch of money. Did that for the year out of college. My first year out of college, drove cross country to California with my boy who was moving out there and had this epiphany while I was out there. I saw the lifestyle. It was beautiful. Everyone was laid back. I'm from New England. It's all uptight up here. Everyone's laid back, chilling. Life is good. And I'm like, dude, what? Why am I stressing out over these sales numbers every day? I fucking hate sales. I quit my job. I went back home to New England. I bought a guitar. I bought a mixing board and like a couple things to record. And I was like, I'm going to be a musician. Fuck it. And I was like, I got a job at the Cheesecake Factory to pay the bills. And then I spent the next like 5-6 years trying to be a musician, which started with uploading covers to YouTube on 2008, 2009, which are still on my channel if you go all the way back.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We got some gems up there, baby.
All those skits, Leon, that I used to make when I was in that community are privated on my channel.
Oh, I believe it. Don't get me wrong. There's plenty of private videos too.
They are so fucking bad.
Bad.
Not that I'm embarrassed by them. Like, obviously they're different. They're kind of cringe. But like this shit I say in that nowadays will not fly on.
Yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, one day I'll probably get hacked and that hacker will make them public or whatever. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna apologize for them. They're fucking hilarious. But one day they're gonna come out, And right now I don't want them to come out.
Arab showed me this one the other day where he's like, yeah, bro, check this video out. It's really funny, blah, blah. And he's like it was like something, it had something to do with like some other YouTuber packing his shit. Like he like sent over a bunch of hate.
It was Pyro Cynical.
Yes.
Pyro made a video on me back when my friend copyright striked him. Back in the day, he stole my friend's video without crediting it. It was an 8-second video and he stole it all without putting and my friend like tried like messaging him to get him like on Reddit, on Twitter, and he never responded. So he's like, all right, I'm just gonna copyright strike you after like a month. And And then the Pyro made the video, and because I had collabed with my friend, I got hate.
bro. So listen, so this motherfucker takes like I don't know how, like what he fucking did to get like he just had a bunch of blood, bro, and he like made a fucking satanic star on the ground like in his front yard and shit. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, this is really funny, but this is extra funny because I know him and like how his parents are and stuff, kind of.
Yes.
So I was like, was your mom like looking out the window, like seeing you make like a satanic star in your driveway with fucking fake blood and like
you know what they said? They would all say, kill yourself and drink bleach.
Yes.
So I made a video of me fake killing myself, essentially, like to praise them. Like, all right, you know, daddy.
Bro, he straight up stabbed himself on fucking
with a fucking pentagram made of blood, bro. Shit was wild.
It is funny the things we'll do for the internet, man. I remember that was one of my biggest things, getting over the fact that I knew my parents were watching what I was doing. And I know, you know, maybe Arab, you can relate, but I come from a very conservative family, grew up Christian. So it was there was this weird, it was a hurdle for me to get over
100%.
the hump of not, you know, letting go of worrying about, you know, I never cared too much about strangers, whatever, like that's fine.
Your parents,
but what your
sure.
family, your close ones, your friends who you really have invested time and, you know,
dude, I started out and I wouldn't curse.
Yeah, same.
I wouldn't curse, and then I remember the first time I was like, I gotta curse. Like this is way funnier if I curse, and I cursed,
dude.
And I whisper cursed, kind of, so my parents wouldn't hear it in the other room.
Yeah. Son of a bitch!
And that bitch was like, you know the Key and Peele skit.
Hey, dude, so.
And I was like, bitch.
I think we all came from like similar like parental backgrounds. It sounds like because like my parents were the same way, like, you know, Christian growing up, like whatever. Like they sent me to a private school, my whole life, etc. They kicked my ass if I brought home like B's and shit.
Yeah.
And when I started filming with Jack and the boys, we started doing some really fucked up shit. And I think I kept it from my parents for a long time. But what happened was we went to fucking America's Got Talent and we ripped our pants off on national television.
I seen that video. Yep.
And I remember thinking to myself, like after it happened, I almost went into like a panic. I was like, oh fuck. I was like, this is when it happens.
This is it. Everyone's gonna know.
I go home and my parents were already like kind of confused on why the fuck I was in California anyways. So I don't say anything. I don't say anything for months. And then Jack or Merrick, one of the two, posts on Facebook the video and tags me, and like your family members could see like the shit you're tagged in.
Oh yeah.
So my sister saw it, and my sister's fucking messaged me like texted me about it, and I was like, you know, they're cool. They're like whatever. They're older. They're like 40, you know, whatever.
Sure.
And so they like text me about it. They're like hyped about it, like whatever. And I was like, okay, just like shut up, like that's it. And then I come into my fucking living room, bro, and they're showing my parents. Like they show my parents, and like I had to fucking explain what the fuck was going on.
And that's when the horror sets in. It's funny because they didn't know anything about the Juke Squad previous to that.
No, not really. Not. It's funny because my dad at one point he was like, yeah, because I told him I was like, we're making videos and shit, but I think he thought we were making like marketing videos or something.
Sure.
and like videos of us like in ghillie suits.
Because you had a marketing agency at the same time, right?
Yeah. Me and Brandon, we did some digital marketing, but it definitely wasn't that. And it's like videos of us like in ghillie suits, like with fucking air horns and golf courses or anything or whatever. But the funny thing is, when my sisters showed my parents that video of us ripping our pants off on national television, the one thing my dad said about it was, "Oh my God, you've met Simon Cowell?"
That was his takeaway. Yeah. He had stars in his eyes. He didn't give a shit. He's like, bro, let me see that hand of yours. He's like, what is that?
Yeah. And he's like, what the fuck? He's like, damn, he's short as hell, huh? I'm like, yeah, I guess.
Bro, the dads definitely give less of a fuck.
Got tall money,
like,
though.
Yeah.
Like my dad used to come into my room every day while I was streaming, and he'd just look at me in disappointment, you know. And then eventually he got it. Eventually, like the numbers got big enough, and he's like, wow. Like my dad got a call the other day of like one of his friends, family members in Lebanon, like he had told him that he'd moved to Georgia now, and he's like, oh my God, you're in Georgia. One of my favorite streamers is there. He's Lebanese. And he was like, wait, what's his name? This was like 5 days ago. It was so cool. And he was like,
love it.
Yeah. And he was like, you're fellow Arab. And then he was like, oh, I know him. Like, I'll call you next time I'm there. And it's like, my dad totally gets it now, you know?
Yeah.
But back then, he like would look at me in disappointment and shit. So whenever I'd curse, it was like, you got to stop cussing. Like, this is bad. You know, what are people going to think if they see your videos? Even now, sometimes he'll be like, son, I love what you're doing. But you don't need to cuss. I'm like, Dad, look at all these fucking Lebanese comedians you're watching that you watch on TV every day.
Nonstop.
You watch them because they curse. Like, you're not gonna watch them if they're fucking praying.
Dude, you know, expletives in our vocabulary being so taboo is such a weird old guard way of thinking about it. I just don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you think about the word fuck on its own, it is the most versatile word. It can be used in every situation. It can describe millions of different things. It can be sensual, sexual. It can be pain. It can be anger. It can be, you know, rejoicing, elatement. It's the most versatile word on the planet. Yet for some reason, it's also the worst swear that's bad to say and won't get you into heaven. Like, suck my dick. It's 4 letters put together in some random order.
Right.
It makes no sense. So it's like, it's the intent. It's how you use it. Like, it's, if you use it in a way to defame somebody and to hurt somebody, that's problematic. But if you're using it as an accent to a performance, whether that's streaming or stand-up, or to accentuate a word that carries some weight in some sort of thing you're trying to deliver, there's nothing intrinsically wrong about that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, there's not like this dude sitting up there like outside the pearly gates with a little tally, like an abacus, like fuck number 7,364.
Way more at this point.
Well, yeah, he's got 15 left before he's going straight to hell. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. But it is parents. Parents hate it. I don't know why.
You guys ever watch SpongeBob? Were you guys big in SpongeBob, like growing up, or
I'm an old asshole. Like, I like the memes, but I never watched it. Like, sit down to watch it.
I never sat down and watched it either.
There's this one episode where he's like, you say this and it makes sentences more spicy, and it was like a dolphin noise, and
I've seen that one.
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of. That's the one.
They're on the beach. Like, they're all on the beach, right? I swear they're all on the beach, and he's fucking slurring it. Non-stop.
Yeah.
Non-stop, bro.
He's like, Patrick, how the dolphin noise are you? Like he's like saying, how the fuck are you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
I never even understood that, because when I watched it, I was so young.
No, that shit was hilarious, bro. And it's a good point, because he was like what you said, just like a little accent. It's like a little. You know what I'm saying? Just makes it nice. Makes it
spice it up. I think there is kind of like, there is an overuse where it just becomes annoying. But when you use them, you know, swear words correctly to accentuate certain things, again, with delivery or whatever you're trying to do, it can add to the experience, whether it's shock value or whatever. But I still get comments sometimes, like randomly on YouTube, by like, you know, Christian mom 643 Deborah, with like a fucking boomer in the profile, but she's like, your content would be so much better if you didn't have to swear so much. I'm like, nah, it wouldn't. That doesn't matter.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up, Deborah. Yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah, I get chats. Like, kids will come into my stream and they'll be like, how come you curse? You'd be a lot better if you didn't curse. I'm like, go fucking watch somebody else that doesn't curse.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
you know, like free. There's so many people.
And I will say, not to get into, but like kind of the whole thing of like just doubling down on like who you are being, like me, swearing is part of my vocabulary. So if I had to physically restrain myself from doing that, I wouldn't be being myself. You know what I'm saying? So if I had trained and grew up in a home or whatever it was where like I didn't swear in my vocabulary and I was forcing it to seem cool, that would be equally as stupid probably. But yeah, no, it's just how I talk. It's how you talk. So it's just a weird topic, because it's some people it's so offensive, other people it doesn't matter. It just really depends on the house you're brought up in. It's really strange.
I love one thing I've noticed about, well, I mean, he's never gotten to the point where he's gotten canceled yet, but Leon's never like had to apologize for anything on social media. Like, you notice every social media star ends up going through something where they're like, oh, sorry guys for doing this. I feel like you just never have. And it's dope.
I feel like probably my day will come. I don't know what it's gonna be.
But why? Why will it come?
Nah, don't ever.
Shouldn't. Don't ever. You know, like.
Oh, I'm sorry. So yeah, no, I'm not gonna
have any crazy sponsors anyway, right?
Here's the thing. Like, I'm not gonna apologize to please the pitchforks in the crowd, right? I would only ever apologize if I really fucked up something. You know, right. But no, like, dude, if you pull up at me like saying gay something in an offensive way from 2016 or something, or I did something like, listen, that's how it was back then. Things are different. I've
get over it.
Like things have like
just changed.
You know
I mean, I'm not doing it now. Like whatever.
No, and even now I make jokes that are a little maybe not okay by today's standards.
For sure,
but
we all
this
do.
is just people that know me. And people that watch me a lot know who I am. They know the type of person I am. You know what I'm saying? They know I'm a good dude that cares about his family. I care about other humans. And the fact that people put so much weight on words or the way things are perceived. Or a joke that you crack, jokes, like it's so wild, the fucking mobs these days. And I know you could talk for hours about that, but it's oof.
I wonder if it's gonna get better or worse.
It'll get worse.
I think it's going to get worse, but there'll be a critical mass where the trend will start to reverse because it's going to get so
exactly.
Like, how can you even keep up with it? Like,
I don't think it will though. You know what I think is going to happen? I think it's going to keep getting worse, and I think that websites and platforms like Twitch and YouTube are going to say to their creators, "Look, man, if you want money, we need sponsors. Sponsors don't like the way you guys say shit."
Therefore, we're way past that point. That's already fully.
Well, I'm saying like even more so in the future, where they're gonna start like on Twitch they took away simp, incel, virgin, etc. All that shit, right?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I feel like people are gonna get outraged about it, but in reality, they're gonna be like, "Hey, man, you want to play ball? You want to use our platform? You want to make money on it? Like these are the rules you're gonna have to play by. And if you don't want to play by them, somebody else will." I think that's what's probably gonna happen.
No, I mean that's
for sure will happen, but that's part of it getting worse, and then eventually it'll, it's gonna keep getting worse, and it'll get to that point, and it'll get really, really bad, and then once everyone's finally sick of it, and people realize the monster they've created, where you can't even say what you want, like at all, because there's these people that are subjectively picking, blah blah. If you don't have blue or pink hair, then you're fucked.
Yeah.
It'll get to that point, and then eventually, and it's not going to be soon, it'll be 10 years from now is my assumption, a decade. Mark this in a decade, whether it's happened or not yet. There will be a reversal.
I think there's going to be competition. So. I think the problem with these websites is that they're all very parallel to each other, and where they have like similar rules to where, like, if I was to go to Facebook gaming or to YouTube gaming, like, it wouldn't be that much different. Like, some of them are a little bit more lenient than others, but like not that much entirely. But I think that there's probably going to be a competitor that sees a niche.
There have been a lot of competitors that have tried. That's the thing.
Yeah, it hasn't gotten that bad though yet. You know what I'm saying? When it gets bad to the point where people need an outlet, they're like, "Dude, I can't do this anymore."
But then you get these outlets, and they're getting banned by like app stores for having different opinions.
Right? No. That was only that presidential shit. What was it? What was it called again? It was
Parler.
There were a few, I think.
Yeah.
I think there were a few. There were more than Parler, I think.
Yeah, but that was for different reasons. That shit was like inciting riots and shit.
Yeah. It's a weird line. That's maybe different because you're talking about possible real world violence.
Yeah, like a coup.
And there some people that are woke make the argument that just saying a slur could incite real world violence, right? They could take the argument the point. That far, I'm sure.
It does happen. That does happen often. That's been an argument for years.
Yeah. And I'm not. It's a tough because there's so much gray area, and like there is obviously like we don't want it just to be like a wild west of people like spitting hateful rhetoric nonstop. But at the same time, the problem is when you bring in big money and you bring in these advertisers on these ubiquitous platforms that kind of control the global conversation, whether it's YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, whatever, kind of the top 5, Google, Facebook, and the amount of power they hold. And obviously so many of us, all of us are kind of monetizing these platforms as our career through, large part of our income is through, I get Twitch is obviously a little different, which is great because you get money kind of directly from the consumer, but that's still mediated by Twitch, and they can take that away in a heartbeat if they want to, which sucks. So they ultimately still have all the control, and YouTube's the same way. They can just, sorry, this isn't safe for advertisers because you looked at the camera the wrong way. And the problem, I think, with the big money and the advertisers is they cater this is a trend I hope that eventually kind of it pumps the brakes, because the advertisers cater to the 0.01% of the wokest fucking idiots on the planet because they are the loudest motherfuckers online. And they do not represent the majority of people. 99.9% of people watching my video that might have got demonetized would not be offended by what I said, but yet it's not safe for advertisers because there is this super small minority of woke individuals that seem to have all this power for some reason, because these
You know
and
why?
maybe I'm wrong.
You know why?
It might be more than, it
No.
might be becoming more than a small minority.
You know
No,
why?
no,
You
no.
know why? Because the other people are too busy fucking doing actual shit with their lives.
Yeah, no, I agree in a lot of ways. Yeah.
Dude, I realize. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think that you know, the people that leave reviews the most are the people that are upset. You know what I'm saying? Like if
Right.
you go to the dentist and you have a good time, you're like, fuck it, you know, like cool, great, I'll go back next time I need them. But like if you have a bad time at the dentist, bro, first thing people go to
The
is
5-paragraph Yelp review, you know what I mean?
yeah, exactly, and the 1-star.
Listen, man, I realize every time I go and hang out with my IRL friends that this online shit doesn't mean anything outside of this online shit. People watch YouTubers and they're fans of YouTubers, etc. But nobody actually gives a fuck about what happened. Sometimes they care about little drama, you know, like, oh, look, Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star fucking jerked each other off, you know, like,
Yep.
but none of them actually care. Everyone's doing their own shit. They're all going to bars. They're all, you know, whatever it is, just living their regular life. Like, they're on Instagram so they can keep connected with their friends, and that's it. Like, the majority of the world doesn't give a fuck about all that stuff.
No, they're just, yeah, like you said, a lot of them are just using it to like, hey, this is someone who I was friends with in high school, let's connect or whatever. Like,
right.
Unless you're doing, you know, using the internet or social media as a platform for, you know, revenue or as your job, which is becoming obviously a lot more mainstream now,
For sure,
especially
right.
with COVID and lockdowns, and all of a sudden we're turning, you know, we're having to turn a whole generation of people that never had to order anything online are now having to order everything online. So it's been interesting to see that play out. But I do see what you're saying in that sense. And it just kind of along those lines, it just feels like there's this weird apprehension by these big billion-dollar advertising agencies and whatever to like, you can't, like, you can never please everybody, which is obvious. But it, for some reason, feels like they're so scared of this really small demographic of people that are offended by everything. And then everyone else has to suffer because of this small demographic. And it's, what point are they going to stop catering to the most, you know, woke part of our culture? I don't know. It's
When they're the minority, when the people that don't care to say something, when their favorite show or creator gets canceled over something fucking stupid, that's when people are gonna start freaking out. Because I remember, I think recently Fitz, there's a YouTube creator, his name's Fitz. He got
Fitz,
yeah, he
Leon's friends with everybody, Edwin.
I stayed in an Airbnb with Fitz for a couple days. Yeah,
they tried canceling him over him saying like some slur or something. And within context, I personally don't even think it was that bad. And he fucking tweeted, he's like, yeah, I've said some real racist, some real fucking fucked up jokes in the past that to this day I still think are fucking hilarious. He's like, he's like, bro, he's like, I don't know. He's like, how can you cancel somebody that doesn't give a shit about it anyways? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's and
the best part is he's 100% not racist. I promise you. He's
no,
just,
I know.
Well,
I know.
funny. Yeah,
You don't have to promise us that. Here's the thing, dude.
Yeah.
Like, we get it. Like, we crack jokes, dude. Like,
Yeah.
People gotta understand, like, the world isn't run by TOS of your favorite social media site.
Yeah,
Like, people find shit funny, and just because you crack a racist joke doesn't make you racist. Like,
no, right.
I don't. When I
Stereotypes,
meet
whatever.
you in real life, like, I don't care what color skin you are. I don't care what it's how you treat me. That's how I treat you. You know, like, that's what it is. Like.
Yeah, that's it is funny. I know that exact tweet you're talking about, and I remember you read the beginning. It's one of those, oh, you had me in the first half memes. I was like, oh, here it comes. Then he's like, I still think it's fucking hilarious. I was like, oh shit, that was kind of good.
The thing was, I also found the tweets of the people like outraged at what he said.
Yeah,
and they had like a bunch of replies. So I click on the replies, and all the replies are like, Fitz doesn't care. Fitz doesn't care. Fuck you. It was funny, etc. And I'm saying, like, see, like, he has a community that's gonna have his back. Because if he was like anyone else, bro, you'd click those comments, they'd be like, oh my God, you're right. That was so fucked up, blah, blah, blah. So I think that it's going to stop when the minority of, like, those annoying minorities, they take something away.
Oh my God, everyone hates minorities.
Big. Oh my God.
Take it out of context. Those annoying minorities.
I look in the mirror some days. I'm just like, damn it.
God, this dude's so annoying. Jeez, yeah, it's an interesting time to be sure, man. Even just between 2016 when I made my first commentary to right now, 4.5 years later, it's so much has changed in that 5-year period.
Yeah, it's all downhill from then, huh?
I think we're still. I think the snowball.
Shit.
I think the snowball is still gaining steam downhill, but hopefully it hits a plateau at some point. But
I think it will plateau eventually. Whether it be whatever how many years, 10 years, but it will plateau, and I think we'll be at the forefront. We will be those people that are there to to push comedy, because comedy, dude. Like, why do people find Andrew Schultz so funny?
Dude, I was just about to. Well, here's the thing. Kind of on the flip side of
because
this small minority of
hilarious.
people that have the highest voice, because of how mainstream woke culture has become, and the word woke is so overused, but it's kind of the only way I know to describe it.
No, it is woke culture, yeah.
There is a huge outcry and yearning for people like Andrew Schultz who just do not give a fuck. And it's difficult because it's difficult for a lot of people that are up and coming, for instance, or if so much of your money is tied to advertisers, money that's outside of your control. But if you can find ways, like obviously like Patreon, paywalls, things like that, to get to give yourself a steady income that allows you to not give a fuck about advertisers, that is the golden goose, because then you can say whatever you want, be yourself to a point. Obviously you have stories of Patreon cutting off Alex Jones, all these other things that's more political.
I to this day stand by the fact that Alex Jones is one of the smartest entertainers of our time.
I think he's fucking hilarious, dude. I think he's fucking hilarious.
I'm not saying his political whatever.
I'm telling you, they're putting chemicals in the water and they're turning the frogs gay.
Bro, you're actually really good at that voice,
bro. I know. I've gotten people that are like, wow, that sounds a lot like him. I'm like, yeah, I should do an Alex Jones stand-up routine, maybe.
Bro, he is a fucking genius entertainer, and I think it's a show. I think he's not a genius. A genius entertainer.
Right.
Not a genius. I'm not saying what he says. I'm saying he knows how to entertain, and I think a lot of it is for show.
Bro, do you remember? Do you guys ever see the clip where he runs after a reporter?
Funny, dude.
I don't think I've seen it.
Oh my god, dude, that someone signed that man as a wide receiver because he's got some jets.
Oh, he had quick feet in that video.
Yeah, like quick he was feet. Fucking zooming for sure.
He's an anomaly to me because it's tough to know. Like, I think he's self-aware, and I think he's incredibly intelligent in the way his brain works, and he processes information, and he holds billions of facts in his brain at all times. I think there's also a side of him where he's
insane.
He's too big for his own britches. Like he's kind of gone down this certain rabbit holes, maybe a little too much. Obviously the Sandy Hook thing was a huge problem. But it's weird. Like I don't know. But to your point, like, I'm not trying to speak to, his belief system or what he thinks is true and what's not. But when it comes strictly to watching a segment and being entertained, that man is impossible to not be entertained by.
Right?
Like, watching him on the Rogan podcast, or like even like just
that podcast was one of the best ones I've ever listened to. It's like 3.5 hours.
Dude, and I'm just sitting there like, bro, this is so fucking funny, dude.
You know what? I thought the Kanye one would be similar, by the way.
I haven't even seen the Kanye one yet.
I tried to listen to the Kanye one on the way to Florida last time I went, and it was so fucking boring. I got 10 minutes in.
It was, but it was boring in the sense of like Kanye West is such a character that you thought that would be what was shown, but like he's actually not. I feel like outside of performing, he's like a real quiet person almost, and that's kind of how he was.
I agree.
But dude, Alex Jones, man, that motherfucker. My favorite line from that whole podcast, Joe Rogan, was, did they smoke? They got high, right? Like
I think they did.
Bro, he smokes and like he like completely forgot what the fuck he was saying. He's like, Joe, I just want to apologize to you, my friend. He's like, sometimes I'm a little retarded or some shit like that. Bro.
Joe, I gotta apologize. I'm kind of retarded. I have to rip with the blunt, dude. I remember that was one of the first things I saw on Twitter. I was dying.
That's so good.
Leon, I want to go back to the point. I'm gonna be straight away, but last time you apologized, but no, that's the whole point of a podcast. I wanted to know
No more apologies.
how it's been, like how your wife, how you transitioned from having a job, and like how that conversation goes. Basically telling somebody like you're gonna quit to, you know, pursue this full time when you're not even making money. As well as I want to talk about how your parents supported it, the shift.
Okay, so yeah, it's a great question. It's hard to keep it somewhat brief, but I'll try to nutshell
You don't have to keep it brief. You don't have to keep it brief.
So credit to my wife, first of all, because, you know, we were together and already pretty, you know, serious and married before anything ever really popped off. And when we met, I was still doing the band thing previous to even kind of leaving the band and starting to upload to YouTube again in 2016. We had already started dating, got pretty serious. One story I will always tell. When I finally made the decision, I was in my late 20s. I sat down with her. We were kind of like at the point where we were talking potential marriage. I realized, hey, I don't see a future with the band I'm in right now that makes sense. That's not financially viable. I want to start a family someday. So we sat down and we talked about it. I left the band amicably, and I'm like, I'm going to take this time that I was spending at practice and doing these things, and I'm going to reinvest those hours into learning how I can do something online, anything, what it is. I knew that there was a lot of attention there that was going online. Obviously, I had tried a few years ago with the music thing. It didn't really pan out before I stopped and started doing the live show stuff. And so at the time, I had probably $30 in my bank account, and she let me borrow her credit card and buy my first iMac that I made, you know, my first however many videos on YouTube. I bought the iMac with her credit card, and I'd stay up every night after she went to bed till like 2, 3 in the morning and just watch tutorials, learned how to use Logic Pro, learned how to use Final Cut, learned how to use fucking Adobe Photoshop.
And you were fucking good. By the way, if anyone doesn't know, Leon is fucking good at those programs.
I've had experience.
And this is me watching your stuff 4 years ago. I was like, wow, these are good. So now I can't even imagine how.
Right. And that's what it was. Cause I probably spent 6 to 9 months literally just learning, watching tutorials and making sample things before even considering uploading anything to the internet. And that's kind of my favorite story, because she had kind of trusted me to be like, I'm like, hey, hon, I want to do this thing. I am passionate about this. Like, I need there to be something outside of the restaurant industry that I can work on, because I know I don't want to do this. I'm passionate about being creative and entertaining. So she let me do that. And, you know, I eventually paid her back. And then the next step of that was, okay, now YouTube, I have a few subscribers and it's making a little bit of money, right? Maybe I'm doing like $1,000 a month. I had a really good month, made $1,500 from YouTube ads. Like, which that was like literally my first goal was like, if I could make $1,000 of online revenue, somehow online, like that's the holy grail. I have literally a plaque on top of the fridge right there. It's this little certificate where I wrote that goal down in 2015, and I gave myself a year to achieve it. I didn't achieve it, and then I crossed it out, gave myself another year, and I finally achieved it in 2017. And that the conversation shifted to now. I'm like, hon, I really see potential here. And so I'm giving up shifts in the restaurant. I'm starting to work less in the restaurant because I see the potential. I want more time to invest in building the business online.
Was she working as well?
Yeah, she's been a nurse the whole time. So
they're always nurses, like, man. They're always nurses.
To tell you what, it's great. It's and obviously helpful that she has a steady job as well. But that conversation, you know, convincing people that what you're spending so much time on is going to be worth it, even though you don't see it right now, is the hardest part. When you know this as well, because you're streaming 12, 14, 15 hours a day.
$0
any statistics
for years.
$0, no stats, no analytics you can pull up and be like, this is why, right? That's the hardest part. That's the hardest part.
2.4 viewers.
Yeah, 2.4 average viewers.
What the fuck is a 0.4?
79 cents of ad revenue. Here we go.
He's a midget in the 0.4.
So
you didn't even get ad revenue as an affiliate, like before your partner.
Oh no, yeah, for sure on Twitch,
on
for
Twitch.
sure.
So yeah.
Jesus Christ. So it's kind of along that vein. It was just kind of months of like slowly growing. 1 month I'd have maybe a few more bucks, but never where it was anything that could be considered sustainable. So there was a lot of, I wouldn't call them arguments, but discussions about like, hey, like, why are you giving up this shift at the restaurant? You're going to make $300. And I'm like, well, like, I think I can make a video and like, I feel blah, blah, blah. To her credit, like she questioned it, but she always trusted me enough to never let it cause friction in our relationship, which I can only I can't speak to anybody else's relationship because it's going to be different for everyone. But I give her a huge amount of credit for that, because it probably wasn't easy to be like, and how do you explain to your friend, what's your husband do? Why is he working less at the restaurant? It's like, oh, he makes videos on YouTube. And it's like, older people my age, 30s, 40s, like they don't
Definitely
get that.
not,
a lot
right.
of them still. So it was an amazing feeling when I eventually in 2018, I had that video that went viral, and then the other one that went viral around those Australian brothers. That was kind of like my first really blow up on YouTube, where I could fucking pull up my analytics and be like, this is why I've been up till 3 a.m. for the last fucking 4 years, studying, making videos, man. Doing all this shit. And she was like, okay, I get it. Quit your job. And I was like, all right, good. Thanks. So it was like, that was it. And I will, to your point, I know you mentioned, like, I didn't fully quit my job at the restaurant until I had a blow up month where I was like, all right, I made, enough money in this month to where it would sustain me more than like several months in the restaurant. Like, clearly there's something going on here that's worthy of my time.
Was it December?
It was
in summer.
It was not. It was before that. It was like September, October area. I think
decent CPM.
Those are still nice months though.
Yeah, still good months.
Hey, so I have a question about that, in the sense of like, she let you borrow her credit card to get your Mac.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like she had faith in you, but it wasn't like unquestionable faith. So she like still like, asked questions about it.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah.
Do you think that you can attribute some of your success to maybe that pressure? Because it sounds like, who has a very similar story to this? Casey Neistat.
Sure.
Where he was broke, he had nothing really, and then he like bought an iMac with like credit cards.
Mm-hmm.
And like just grinded it out. There was always that fire under his ass. So do you think that like just like not being able to prove numbers or anything like that, and like just starting out, like was the pressure part of the motivation, you think?
I think it was definitely in the equation. I mean, I think about, if I was, and maybe one of the reasons that I didn't find success 10 years earlier with the music thing is because I didn't have that pressure yet. I was still young. My personality type is a little laid back, but I was at a point in my life now where it's like, hey, I have this, I'm with this woman who I'm planning on marrying. And
sorry about that, by the way.
No. It's all good. I'm dealing with it. It's all right. And then finally, by the time it got to, the timing of everything was crazy, because my wife was pregnant the 9 months leading up to, like, my blow up month was like 2 months after my son was born. So like the whole 9 months she was pregnant and leading up to that was kind of this whole period of like, hey, I'm trying to work less of the job, but I'm still not doing enough over here. So yeah, there was absolutely this pressure of like, man, like I can feel it. I can feel like I'm doing the right thing. I know there's potential here, but I can't just like quit my restaurant job right now and like live off of ramen and live in a,
if I don't get enough revenue by the 9th month, we're aborting.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, exactly. It's past the pyramid. It's too late to abort, right? I got a kid on the way.
God damn.
So there's that pressure to not have a fucking midterm abortion. So I had to really work my ass off. But no, 100%. Just because I was where I was at in my life. But I will say, the restaurant industry was the perfect job for me because it was malleable. It had some flexibility. Instead of like a 9 to 5, like I could work 3 shifts a week some weeks instead of having to work 5 or 6 or working 40 hours because of the type of job it was. So
were you given kind of sorry to cut you off, it's a really important question.
No, you're fine.
Were you given like a free cheesecake per shift?
Oh man, so at this time I'd left the Cheesecake Factory. I was working at the Capitol Grill Steakhouse, which was phenomenal. But I spent 8 years at the Cheesecake Factory. And if you work a double, you get a free meal, a green ticket, they called it, which you could use on a cheesecake. A lot of the girls used it on desserts for whatever reason. Guys too, I guess. I don't know why it's only the girls, but the girls just seem to love cheesecake more than the dudes there. I don't know why. And if you worked just a single shift, you could use a ticket for 50% off at any time, the cheesecake.
Sick. Okay.
But also they do so much volume in stock. I could literally just walk back and take a piece of cheesecake if I wanted to. Once you have a good enough relationship with the managers.
They do that much volume in the fucking, oh my God.
Bro, I was just there recently. They have a fucking 60-page menu.
Oh yeah,
bro.
oh yeah. I took the course. It's like a 4-day class to learn their menu, and then you have to take a 250 question test before you can fucking start serving.
I was like, dude, honestly, I was like, how the fuck do they make all of this food well when it's just so diverse? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I will say, dude, and people I don't think understand this, like that it is literally a scratch kitchen. So all of the sauces, everything they do, they build with fresh ingredients. It's an incredibly well-oiled operation, to their credit, like, you know, which is why it's one of the more successful restaurant chains. But the food, like the amount of food they offer and the way it's prepared fresh from scratch every morning, the fucking prep cook shows up at like 3:30 in the morning. It's pretty insane how they pull it off. And it's obviously different restaurant.
Oh, the cook shows up in 3:30 to
the prep cooks get there mad early. They're chopping all the stuff. They're making all the sauces. Like not every single sauce, every single dressing is homemade.
Wow.
Like all of it. Yeah, it's wild.
Welcome, guys, to our first sponsor, Cheesecake
I was going to say, and that is a segue to our sponsor for, I got to show them love because, you know,
for sure.
Plenty of things I hated and still hate about working in the restaurant industry, but I can't hate the Cheesecake Factory because, listen, it kept a roof over my head. It kept money in my pocket, a little bit of money, but money at least.
As heartwarming as that is, heartwarming as that is, I'm unfortunately going to have to go back and edit out every time we said.
I know, just fucking
imagine you're like that. There's people that are like that.
Yeah.
I wonder how much it pays off.
Hey, where did you work? Well, I spent 8 years at the. What was that? Yeah, no.
I said. That go XLR, huh?
Yeah, baby. XLR gang, what's good?
I can do that too. Beep.
I'm relatable. I have one too.
I wonder how much it pays off. Like if they actually get, you know, like sponsors out of that.
I have no idea.
Or do viewers just look at it like that's fucking weird?
You know who does that a lot? Danny Duncan. He was like at Topgolf in like a recent video, and he like refused to say the word Topgolf, even though it was literally plastered everywhere. He's like, yeah, we're at this golf place, and like it literally says Topgolf like right next to his leg. And
he just puts the Danny Duncan 69 bumper sticker over it.
And I remember he did that with Honda too. He tried getting a sponsorship with Honda. I don't know if they ever did or not, but he tried really hard. I mean, I think he tried both things where like he like really put on for a brand, and then they never showed him love. So it was kind of like, well, fuck, dude, like
that makes sense.
Why'd I do that? And then I guess.
Yeah, now you're not getting millions of free eyeballs, which I understand if you've made the effort.
Like the amount of times I talk about a company, like while I'm eating their product, like I have protein stuff and shit. I'm sure it sold so much stuff, you know. But like, but how weird would it be to the viewers if every time I'm fucking eating it, I'm like, yeah, Chad, this is, you know, like.
You just can't say anything branded at all. Like, no one cares.
But you gotta put black fucking masking tape over the fucking brand on the chip bag.
But it is a weird thing when you are in a position of, you know, being fortunate enough to have an audience maybe that watches you do things, whether it's YouTube or Twitch, because, you know, it's natural for us to talk about things we like to do, products 100%. We like to use. And I'm constantly on stream and like. More so on stream when you're more candid. Like obviously I can kind of be more controlled about what I'm putting in a YouTube video. But you're like, I'm like, hey man, I just tried this thing. I love it. Like I promise this isn't sponsored, but it's just like, it's been a great fit for my needs. And it's weird because that's oftentimes the most powerful form of marketing is stuff that's not paid marketing. It's just word of mouth from a trusted person. Like that's more powerful than a paid segment. You know what I'm saying? So it's, but I don't have a problem. Like if it's actually a product that I like and I love and I think could bring value to other people, just because I'm not getting paid to talk about it doesn't mean I'm going to not talk about it. Like I don't fucking care. Like whatever.
That's such a good point. So I shill CBD. I'm huge on CBD for like people that have anxiety for whatever reason, right? And I tell them about it and like personal use, etc. But I don't have a CBD sponsor. So I think that's actually a powerful like train of thought in the sense that where like they've heard me talk about it unsponsored and they're like stoked for me to potentially someday get a sponsor. So I feel like when I do get a sponsor, since they heard me talking about it and know that it's like something that I actually advocate for, they'll actually
show up. Exactly. They'll show up for it 100%.
That's why I've been shilling like a bunch of like altcoins recently.
This is not financial advice.
That way one day I could just make $1 billion.
Yeah.
We're launching brand risk coin soon, actually.
Fuck yeah, dude. BRC, I'll buy some. I'll put a bag on that. I got a nice little
that's hilarious. BTC, BRC, that's good.
I got a nice little portfolio going right now. You know what I'm saying?
Do you actually?
Oh yeah, I'm big bullish on cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
That's sick. That's sick.
I
That's
need
funny.
to, bro. I need to get back into it. Back when I was in that, like the commentary shit and stuff, I was so into it. Bitcoin was like $3,000. I bought it. I remember I made like 15 grand back when it all went to like when it all spiked. That those 3 days.
End of 17, 18.
Yeah. And then I like bought a fucking Surface Pro. I was like, fuck yeah. Like I just made 15 grand. I'd never seen 15 grand in my life, dude.
Of course,
my 5 grand that I had fully invested in a bank had become like 18. And I was like, all right, fuck yeah. I'm going to go buy a Surface. And I bought it, and then like 3 days later, I'm like back down to 3 grand, and I'm like, wait, now I'm down 2. And then and then I moved everything into Ripple, and then I waited until I made 2K profit, and I just sold everything. I haven't touched crypto since.
Oh, fucking Ripple, dude. I fucking fuck Ripple right now. We'll see what happens once that SEC lawsuit settles down.
Yeah. See, you actually know shit. Good shit.
Yeah.
That's dope. Nah, dude, I'm in like 3 Twitter group chats about like stocks.
You mention this every time. Yo, everybody watching the podcast, remember to DM Edwin to get into these private group chats.
You know what, motherfucker?
I bet you DMs constantly.
No, so yesterday I go into his stream. He's watching a podcast we did with a homie that actually knows about crypto, and I was like talking about the group chats and shit. And before I even get to his stream, I look at my DMs. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I go into his stream, I see what he's doing. And everyone's like, yeah, blame Arab for that. He's telling everyone to fucking DM you. He's saying that shit to like 2,000 people. And I got a fuck ton of DMs.
I bet.
I'm gonna add them all to a chat.
A random group chat and just shill coins. Shill coins that you want to manipulate the market with.
Exactly. No. It's gonna be a brand new group chat of just the people that message me from your stream. And I'm just gonna pretend like everyone knows what the fuck they're talking about.
You wanna know what's crazy?
BRC.
I'm thinking about right now. Like when it comes to gaming, you actually learn so much from gaming. I feel like from MMOs or like RuneScape personally. Okay, now that we're talking about like shilling coins, and manipulating markets, RuneScape, because there's a grand exchange in RuneScape, and it's based off how much product there is in the actual game. You can buy. Have you played RuneScape before, Leon?
I know a lot about it, but I never really played about it.
There's like a grand exchange. So like when a new item comes out and it hasn't been like you haven't killed the monster to get it yet or whatever, it's really expensive. And then as more people find the product, you know, it's based off supply and demand. Well, what these clans would do, these groups would basically manipulate markets, and they'd find these useless items and absolutely like dump them. They would pump and dump them. So the price would go up 20% and they'd make a bag and then they would dump them. And then fucking everybody at the bottom would lose all their gold. But like at the top, they're fucking pumping and dumping, they're cashing out. And then they'd probably real world trade those for actual money.
For sure.
Market manipulation.
Speaking of which, that's happening right now with shit like GameStop.
Did you see what happened yesterday?
150%, right?
Yeah.
Unbelievable, dude. They took a hedge fund for all they were worth, bro. It was so fucking funny. Crazy funny. It was basically
they're shorting the fuck out of them the whole time.
It was Reddit. It was Wall Street.
Wait, a hedge fund was shorting GameStop?
No, yes.
So that's why GameStop. Wall Street bets.
There's this subreddit that gets together and they go ballistic, and they saw for whatever reason that GameStop had an insane amount of short bets against it by just a lot of people. Clearly, what is GameStop? GameStop's a failing industry. No one's going to buy fucking games at a retail store anymore. So and a lot of times short options are private, but for whatever reason, I don't know the particular case. I'm not that well versed, but there was a public record of
what is it up? What is it? 200%? 250?
It's $150.
Yeah. How much? What's the
GameStop
percentage
right now?
What's the percentage in a week?
It's up 92% today.
What's it up in a week? What's it up in a week?
Oh my god, bro! I almost shorted it at $36.
What's it up in a week?
Yeah.
In the last week, it's up 301%.
Yeah,
dude. Imagine you had 100 grand in there. Imagine you had 100 grand.
In the last month, it's up 580%.
But as soon as you buy, it's gonna crash. So
in the last 3 months, it's almost up 1,000%, bro. This is ridiculous. You know what's hilarious, bro? Let me show this real quick for everyone listening. If you guys look, you're not getting in the fucking chats, all right? So just listen to the podcast and maybe I'll throw you a bone. But dude, it's about like it's nostalgic things that are failing, and that's what people are targeting. So like they're gonna target BlackBerry next and AMC. You know, AMC,
Oh my
like,
God, they will
and
totally
shit.
target BlackBerry. But we gotta wait for Wall Street bets. We gotta wait for Wall Street bets to talk about it.
They already are. They
Oh,
already
really?
are.
They're doing. Yeah, they did BlackBerry too. They're getting it going.
BlackBerry and AMC's up fucking $2. And you know what? I was talking to Hontao, for those of you that listened to the previous podcast. I was talking to him earlier today, actually, and he goes, if these funds can manipulate these stocks, he's like, so can a million poor people.
Dude, it's true. They fucking one of the most prominent hedge funds lost like 2.1 billion because of the short squeeze that Wall Street Bets put on it, like just yesterday. They had to get other firms to bail them out, dude. One of the most prominent Wall Street firms.
Really?
Like, how do you explain to all of your investors that you lost 2.1 Bs because a bunch of poor people on Reddit fucked you in the ass?
No, dude.
So funny. I love it.
I can't believe it's up to $150 right before my fucking. It was at like $80 this morning.
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah, it pumped then dumped, and now it's back up again today. So I don't know what it's doing now. If
I'm not fucking with that. That's gambling.
Do you understand that this is not how the stock market's supposed to act?
Yeah,
like the intent and purposes of the stock market, like for example, GameStop. It's if you have faith in the company and you like what it's doing and its management and you see it going places. This is literally just people. Yeah, exactly. It's like a subjective like meme. Fucking holy shit, dude. That's so funny. Bro, I'm dumping all my money into AMC and BlackBerry next.
Straight manipulation. I know. I might throw a bag into AMC.
Oh my God, you're so right. Because wait, which one are they betting on more on Wall Street Bets?
Both. AMC,
no, but there's gotta be one that they're betting on more, bro.
Bro, listen, I got their notifications on, motherfucker.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely, bro.
Dude, I'm telling you, I follow them so closely.
Because as soon as GameStop dumps, it's all gonna go into that.
Yeah, it's
oh my God, I'm
AMC.
buying that. Wait, what time is it? Okay, we're good. I can still buy before the stock market closes.
There was one of the kids on there. What he turned 50 grand into like 11 million somehow in the last like week or something insane. I don't know. I just briefly saw the story, but obviously that's going to be an outlying case. But man, there's some people making some bags on this market manipulation. It's crazy. The market's fucked anyways, dude. Outside of this Wall Street Bets things, what we've seen in the last year, the valuation of the market in the face of like the biggest crisis in the country in like 100 years is just a weird time to be an investor. Not to mention that, but now all of a sudden you have all these new retail investors with cell phones and Robinhood, and they're making the accessibility of placing no fee trade. So like traditional investors are like, what the fuck is going on right now?
I mean, they're out of jobs, bro. They're out of jobs.
Oh yeah, it's so hard to predict now. It's so different than it has been the last however many years.
The thing that's crazy is I'm like into this shit like pretty, you know, like on my off time I like keep up with it or whatever.
Yeah,
and the thing is, people are now like accounting for the amount of money people are getting for stimuluses and like projecting on like what they think
it drops and whatever. Yeah,
dude. And you know what's crazy? That like Robinhood, the app by itself and its community, is what I've been told the only reason Tesla is up to fucking $900. Because as soon as you open up Robinhood, the first thing it hits you with is Tesla is fucking king of everything.
Notifications,
and then people just dump it into Tesla. You know what I'm saying?
Subtle little hints to put your stock into this, and you have millions of people getting that notification.
But the beauty of Robinhood is margin trading.
I think
the beauty / the reason people fucking want a KMS too at the same time.
I think that eventually what's gonna happen is they're gonna have to regulate this app, because if you're scrolling through the app in the search section, it gives you a bunch of like articles about like things that they like think that you like. Because like if you put certain stocks in like your watching list, like GameStop, like Tesla,
they'll
whatever,
feed you like the algorithm will feed you articles. Yeah,
exactly. I don't think that's good.
I
think it's unhealthy. Yeah, no, because there's so literally like, and we all know that like
the other apps
literally
do that?
The market is basically run by speculation.
The other apps do that.
Other apps do too.
But I'm saying I think that using these phone apps trade large amounts of money is a very new thing. Yeah, and I think that people are gonna get fucked, bro.
100%
because of the explore page, and I think that people are gonna start case action lawsuits.
Did you hear the new tax plan?
Or class action lawsuits.
Did you hear the new plan to tax income from
unrealized gains?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, what? Wait, what are you talking about?
On gains that you haven't pulled out. So right now, everyone listening that doesn't know, you get taxed on your gains from the stock market when you pull out.
When you bring it back out of the market.
Yeah, they're proposing right now a tax that yearly you get taxed on whatever your gains are, even if you're not pulled out.
Right. So you could literally get taxed on that money. Then the market goes down. You lose your money. And now you don't have the money left that you got taxed on.
Right.
It's fucking insane.
Yeah, that is very dumb.
There's no way it makes it through. There's no way.
And the problem is there's already like things to stop that. Like there's a long-term investment tax. Like if you keep it over a year, like it's a different bracket or whatever. Like why? That's fine. You know what I'm saying? Because if it's a long-term investment, you're clearly not a day trader. If you're a day trader, you do it for an occupation, and it kind of makes sense for you to get taxed, you know, like type shit. But that's really dumb. That's really fucking dumb.
Leon.
Yeah.
So, question about your parents. When you quit and you like moved to California, were you living at home at the time?
So no, I hadn't lived at home since. Wait, did I go home for a couple months? No.
How did they take it?
So I hadn't lived at home since my early 20s. My parent, it's a bit of a fringe case, I will say. My parents, in a nutshell, as I mentioned earlier, conservative Christian, but on the flip side of that, the most welcoming, warm-hearted, incredible people on the planet. I consider myself super blessed. Could not say enough great things about my parents. So they always were loved having conversations about it and would kind of give me a little bit of insight into how they felt about certain things, but it was always with a pillar of, you know what, we support you no matter what. And that was always how things were built on. So I'm kind of, you know, and so it's hard for me to relate. I know there's the majority of people do not have that blessing to have that type of relationship with their parents, because I know so many parents are just, if they don't understand what their kid's doing and it's not what they see their kids doing, it becomes this huge friction point that can really wear down a relationship. And like you said, in your case, I know it was tough with your parents.
Well, it didn't wear down our relationship for sure. It was right. I knew why they did it, you know?
Yes, but still, how good was it when you were like able to show them?
I cried.
Yeah,
First
absolutely.
time my dad said he was proud of me. Yeah.
It feels like this insane weight. And like now finally I can show you a little bit of proof that what I've been doing all this time I've been spending is gonna be worth it, or
100%.
is worth it, whatever. Yeah. So yeah, super cool. I mean, my parents, that was never a problem. It was more my whole thing with like, as I started to get into more like being myself with the content, with the cursing, with the sexualized humor, all these things that I knew would throw my parents for a loop. That was more just my own self-consciousness about not wanting to let them down on like a spiritual level or whatever it is. But it was never them coming down on me. It was always me being like not wanting to let them down just based on their perception. But man, no, they've been great. They're like, they low key, I think, are still fans. They always watch my shit and make jokes.
Do you have plans on, do you want your kid to be in this internet shit?
Dude, I don't know, man. It's like, it's tough to make plans because how fucking different is it going to be in 5 to 10 years when he's like getting to that age?
But you'll probably still be on it.
Yeah, it's going to be nothing like it is now. Who knows where I'll be at? Maybe I'll be a TikToker. Maybe I'll be fucking cutting lumber in Canada. You know what I'm saying? Off the internet completely. I have no idea. But
do you think you could ever go back now that you've like experienced it?
No, I mean, no. I think with no matter what, I'll probably be finding ways to adapt in the digital landscape. Whether that's YouTube, obviously podcasting you guys are doing. That's something I'm considering doing this year as well. And we'll always be trying to be, I guess, sort of a, you know, I don't know what you call it, just an online,
is good, man.
Good. Online entertainer of some sort, or deliverer of information in a way that is enjoyable for people to view. So
I think the best thing that we've gotten out of podcasting is the connections. So like,
yeah, with people,
everyone's acquaintances online. You know, you all follow each other, but you don't DM everybody. You're not close with everybody. No. You know?
No, and it's like, insane when you sit down with someone for an hour to 2 hours and like it's a whole nother level of that.
Now you're much more comfortable too, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly. Like I feel like now, like Ed, when I could kick it, like it would just feel totally natural to show up at a party and like we could kick it. It would be cool because we kind of have the basis of like just sitting around and chatting for a bit. It creates a new level of connection, right?
I think that not only that, but like when you connect with people online, it's like other creators especially, it's never for more than a couple messages. So like when you actually have like a long form piece of content together where like I know about like your background now, your family, how they felt, like this and that, like where you're going in life, etc. I feel like we have more understanding of each other and more to go off of if we were to ever hang out in real life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
the long form is definitely what creates the relationships, I feel like.
Yeah, and that's one thing I've been missing, which is why I was excited when you reached out to me, Arab, just because I'm like, man, I haven't been doing any podcasts.
I haven't talked to you in so long.
I know, and fucking, and you know, little tweets here and there, you know,
yeah, just little whatever.
But that's all skin deep bullshit. But yeah, but that's why I'm looking forward to hopefully getting into some long form stuff myself this year. And then yeah, like you said, whatever happens with YouTube, man, I love what I do, so I hope I can continue doing it. And whatever happens online, I'll try to adapt as best I can to make it viable for myself and my family. And that's it, because I don't want to polish silverware anymore, man.
Good for you, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
I have a few more questions before we wrap it up. I'm sure a lot of people want to know how Nigel was created. I personally remember you came up with this monkey at a random one day. People liked it, and you had a Twitter poll for the name.
Yes,
I remember the Twitter poll vividly.
Is there do you upload the podcast with the video piece?
Yeah, it's on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, all of it.
For anybody watching on YouTube, I figured I just grabbed the boy real quick. The OG that I built my channel with right here.
Hey, put my nephew down. Hey.
He dude, it was so weird. So this was at a time when I was really kind of like throwing pickles at the wall and seeing which one stuck, right? As far as what types of content I was doing. I was browsing the internet. I happened upon this website called Ashton Drake Studios, I think it's called. Let me search it up right now. And they are in the business, of making lifelike baby dolls. So I had this weird thought. I was like thinking about doing skits and stuff. And I was like, what if I bought an actual lifelike baby doll and did some weird fucked up shit to it? Or just whatever, did anything.
How the fuck you end up on a site like this? This is a shitty ass site.
Dude, I have no idea, but these motherfuckers are like $140, $150. Like they're like handmade like baby dolls. So I was like, that would be weird maybe if I was like, you know, pretending to like make love to a baby or fucking hitting it, like punch it in the face. But then like I saw these little baby monkey dolls, or like these animals. I'm like, oh, maybe if it's an animal, it would be like I could get a little more creative with it. So I just pulled the trigger on this doll, which would later be deemed Nigel, and he sat around for a while, not really doing much. And I think one video I was randomly doing something and I saw him, and I was like, maybe I'll like include him and give him like a voice, or like do like a mouth dub over his mouth and like have a little dialogue with him. I don't honestly can't even remember what the first. Actually, you know what? I think it was a Vine skit. It was back when I was making Vines. I think it was one of his first appearances was on Vine, and it just proliferated from there. I started including it in the YouTube videos, and he became this kind of sidekick character that would just have little random bits in my videos, and it kind of grew a life of its own. Obviously, the audience responded well to it. Then we named him through a Twitter poll and all this other stuff, and it just kind of all happened from there. So he's kind of like one of the OG members. Obviously, he comes and goes in the channel. He's not in every video anymore as I try new things. But
yeah, you don't want him taking your spotlight.
That's what I'm saying. But he still makes his appearances. He was in the last video for a little bit at the end and shit. So I've thought about, I don't tell people this, but I've thought about how I can write him off in like this incredible dramatic like end sequence where I make like this long skit where we do like this Game of Thrones style like sacrifice and like burn him at the stake in some big field or something fucking wild.
Yeah, just wear your robes with it.
You should hit your audience with a mandala effect where like you have a monkey, but it's like a different monkey.
Imagine, but don't say anything about it.
Yeah. You act like it's him, and he's like even dressed similarly, but like you just don't say shit about it.
It's just totally different at the same time.
Yeah, it's a completely different monkey. Yeah,
that would be so funny. I should do something like that.
Definitely mention it at the end of the video, otherwise they're gonna be fucking creeped out.
But no, it's been fun. It was just it was an interesting piece to have that dynamic to like almost have a second person you're talking to, but it's obviously all my own dialogue.
Or wait, if you do kill him off, show the other monkey for a few videos, and then be like, I've been getting a bunch of comments like, where's Nigel? It's a long story. Here it is. And then you show you.
And it's just you driving, and then you go, you're like, oh, fuck, what is that?
Never mind. You got it, yeah.
All right, Leon, one last question, man.
Sure.
First of all, before we ask this question, where can people find you? At your socials? What are your plans? You plan to start a podcast? Lay it all out.
So
this is you.
Leon Lush pretty much on everything, man. I will say, to your credit, about 6-7 months ago, I started streaming more regularly. Nothing
Good
compared
shit.
to you.
Do you enjoy it?
I do, dude. I've loved it a lot for a couple of reasons, and I'll tell you why. Like, I've been doing it just for perspective here. I committed to once a week because I lead a pretty busy life with the multiple YouTube channels and a family and a wife. So I committed to once a week. I've been doing Monday nights. It's been so much fun. I've been doing almost 2 to 3 now. I'm trying to do ultimately 3 nights a week regularly is my goal. I have a Lush channel called Lush Live where I pull some clips and upload them from there. I do live reactions. I play a variety of games. I love it because I'm a born and bred gamer. I grew up gaming, always have. It just never became what my content was centered around. So it's a great way for me to go back to something I loved growing up, something that's been a big part of my life. And to your credit, dude, it's a whole different beast, bro. You know what I'm saying? I got the routine on YouTube, but it's like I got a little small community on Twitch. You know what I'm saying? We do 200-300 viewers, whatever it is, which is phenomenal. It's like it feels so fun to be able to connect on a different level with people that have really supported me all these years that I could never connect with on YouTube in the comment sections like you would on a stream.
It's a community. YouTube's a fan base. Twitch is a community.
100%.
So many, like, you get to put a voice to the name. A personality.
Dude, I've been playing with some people, like, you know, we do some stuff where we play with subs, and it's like it's really cool to get to know them in a different capacity than just seeing them in the comments. And that is kind of my biggest goal moving forward, is really putting some weight into the community building piece, because you know, whatever happens on YouTube with the algorithm, some months are good, some are bad. It's always the community that supports you during the bad months. You know what I'm saying? They're going to always show up even when the algorithms or whatever it is aren't hitting. So I'm trying to find ways to show some love, spread some love there, and to continue to build that, because it's kind of reinvigorating my you know, certain parts of the content creation piece for me, because obviously things can get a little monotonous with styles of content you're familiar with. So it's really fun to have that that live interaction with the fans. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be leaning into streaming. Leon Lush on
you know
YouTube,
who you need
Lush
to check
Live,
out, because I know you can copy a lot of or innovate a lot of his style.
To copy.
It's a Lebanese comedian that I really like. I grew up watching his stuff, and now he streams on Twitch, and I host him all the time. His name is Nimr, Nemr comedy on Twitch. You have a very Nemr
Okay.
comedy.
Oh yeah.
He is one of the highest production values that I've ever seen. When he does like different voice changes, etc. Beautiful lighting, like you. He's very similar to you. He's just Lebanese version. So check him out. Because I'm telling you, bro, you can learn a lot from his. His stream is amazing.
Dude, I will. I've really started to watch. You know, wanting to be more involved in the community, watching a lot more Twitch streamers now as well, just to see what people are doing. It's so fun to see how creative people get with interacting with their community, channel points, rewards, things they do, you know, all types of stuff. There's like a limitless amount of things you can do, and I'm just kind of scratching the surface. So I'm really looking forward to that this year.
All right, so Twitch. Yeah, go ahead.
As a quick side note that I've been wanting to mention this whole time, but I keep forgetting. You have a beautiful voice, my friend. It's nice and velvety. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. Yeah.
You sound like the guy that, like, I feel like you do like a movie intro. You know what I'm saying? Like, coming this summer, like, type shit.
Little tortilla boy.
I love
this
that
summer.
Thank you. This man just came up with my superhero name.
All right, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, everything's Leon Lush. You're starting a podcast towards the end of the year.
Yeah, probably sooner than that. Don't know the name yet. So listen, when I start the podcast on, you know who's going to be the first one I call to be on it. The boys from the Brand Risk podcast.
Hey, just make sure you don't name your podcast Brand Risk.
It's a great name. I got to hand it to you.
We had somebody try to steal it recently.
Oh, I saw that tweet. Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah, that's right.
Big people
that
too.
Was like some big. Oh, that was fucking the huge Twitch streamer, right?
Yeah.
Sam, yeah. A lot of cock tease.
But I DM his partner. His partner's a little bit smaller. Yeah, dude, they clearly researched it. Like, come on. Like, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but like, if you search it anywhere,
100%,
you know, it's there. But I just messaged him nicely, and he was very, like, you know, cooperative and friendly.
Yeah.
So cool guy for sure. I got to shout out to Will. So if you guys are listening in the middle of 2021, go check out Leon's podcast because I'm sure that whatever that fucking podcast is going to be sick, and Leon's pretty well connected, so you'll have some good guests on there. Leon, we have a question that we ask every guest.
I love this. Yeah,
a question that we actually was inspired by Andrew Schultz. Just
I love Andrew Schultz. Sidebar, yeah.
So one day surgeries are going to get so good. You won't be able to tell the difference between someone who was born a woman and is now a male. So everything is the same, right? Like you could be a woman, or Edwin could be a woman. Edwin looks like a woman. So like think about like who's the hottest female you know. Yeah, I mean you could say your wife, but like what's your celebrity crush?
Shit. I'm bad at this game. There's a lot probably. Who's
it's like fuck, which one have I beat my dick to the most?
Yeah, right. Just for let's throw it back to like when I was younger and I was like more into so like a Shannon Elizabeth around American Pie time. Are you familiar with Shannon Elizabeth?
No.
From American Pie? I'm that old, aren't I? All right.
I thought you were gonna say Pamela Anderson.
No, then I'd be really old. But that that might have been the first nude picture I downloaded on my dial-up modem. Actually.
Okay. She's hot. A little bit too much Botox, but yeah. I'm seeing the new one. Yeah.
You're seeing pictures of her. She's 47 now. I'm way too old. All right, fuck this. I'm gonna do it over.
No, the old one's pretty. I see.
I'm gonna do it over. Give me a list of popular names right now. Popular hot girls.
Mia Khalifa,
Jennifer Lopez,
Beyonce.
Bro, you know what? Bro, I'm gonna go with J-Lo. Dude, I'm gonna go with J-Lo because she's the baddest bitch over 50.
She don't right? Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, and then like the hottest dude you could think of. Like Chris Evans.
Who's a good-looking dude? I would
go
say
with Wolverine. I go Hugh Jackman.
I like Hugh Jackman, but I'm gonna go with Thor. What's his name?
Oh yeah. Chris Evans, is it?
No, that's Mr. Captain America. Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth. Yep.
Yeah, he is beautiful. He's a
handsome lad.
But so everything is the same about them, but they still have the opposite body part. So Chris Hemsworth got a vagina.
Yeah.
J-Lo got a penis.
Yeah.
Thick one.
Everything is the same.
Thick,
titties, voice, everything.
Just a penis instead of a vag.
Yeah, you gotta go down on one. That's the Brandon's question. Every guest has been asked this, except if they're way too young. So
I'm not even gonna pretend like this is even a tough question. It's J-Lo with a dick all day.
Dude, let's go.
Hey, you know what's crazy? Where did you say you were from again? You said you were from fucking
New England area. Yeah, like Boston area.
You know, it's crazy. We usually ask people from like New York. They get this question. They all are afraid of the penis. They all.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
New York is so afraid. 5 out of 6 or 5 out of 7 people that we've asked that have chosen the dude with the badge have been from New York. They're afraid. They are deathly afraid of being of their masculinity being questioned. You know?
Having a dick near them.
Yeah.
Nah, bro. Nah, dude. J-Lo with a dick. Come on. You seen? Well, let's not get into it, but yeah, you know.
Yeah, J-Lo the dick would go hard.
That's what I'm saying. Literally. It's everything else, dude. That's the package.
Exactly,
you know what I'm saying?
Bro. Exactly.
Dick, they're both just reproductive organs.
Imagine you're just like, you know, doing your shit and like she's like singing or whatever.
Oh my God.
That'd be sick. A tear would roll down my eye.
100%, dude.
I would
as
tears
are rolling. As tears are rolling down my eyes as my fucking uvula's getting fucking smashed on by her
man.
Yeah.
It's like partially because like I'm gagging on something and also because the singing is just so beautiful.
Beautiful. Oh my God,
Leon,
that's one of the better end of podcast questions I've had. So kudos. Yeah.
Thank you. And with that being said, guys, thank you so much for making it to the end. If you guys didn't know, we have a new clips channel somewhere up there. Edwin Point. No, other way. Up there. There's a clips channel up there where we get highlights of every podcast. If you guys don't like to listen to the full ones, there are highlights up there. They come out a few days after the actual podcast of just the highlights of every podcast. So if you guys want to subscribe to that, feel free to do so. But I mean, you guys made it this far, meaning you probably listen to the end of every podcast. Make sure to check out Leon. All his links are below. And yeah, that was fucking sick. I'm glad we had you on, Leon.
I had a great time, man. I had a blast being here with you guys. I appreciate it.
All right, we'll see you guys later. Peace.
Good shit.